Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be back with Dan, but first let's hear from our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Violet Defense for their support of the Mentoring Minute. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement existing products, or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience you need. Go to violetdefense.com for more information about how their products can help you. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive for their support. You know, it's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department, but Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every year, while also creating excitement in the gym and the ultimate game day experience for your athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 to schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com for more information. You really want to check these products out. We've got one in our gym, and it is fantastic. Email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com. I promise you, you will be very impressed. We also want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. You know, they're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen video consoles, along with an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history, along with your proudest moments, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. or learn more and get started with your own digital Wall of Fame tribute. Call them at 614-981-3589, or you can email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to thank Huddle for their support. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. Over 180,000 teams, including some of the best in the world, use Huddle to help their teams and athletes play better. Huddle is the complete performance platform. They have online tools, mobile and desktop apps, smart cameras like the Huddle Focus. Of course, there's analytics and a whole lot more. Huddle is also built for every level of play, from club and youth teams all the way through high schools and colleges, and professionals are even using Huddle to help their athletes play at the highest level. You're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes, a lot of their parents, and the coaches of the college and university teams you're trying to get to recruit your kids. If you want to find out more about what Huddle can do for you and how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. Welcome back to another episode of the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau. This is episode number 21. Dan, what do you have for us on today's program?
Well, you know, Jake, it's into February now, and it's hard to believe, but the 21-22 school year is 2 seasons in as far as athletics go, and most teams are getting ready for the third session of athletics, but hopefully your team, as you're listening, is still in the playoffs. So I think it's an appropriate time to talk about coach evaluations. I think that in the state of Florida anyway, it's county by county on the opportunities to be an athletic director. Some counties require you to be an administrator. Some counties require you just to be a teacher, and some counties don't require any of that, especially, at the private sector. And Whether you have the opportunity to hire, retain, or let a coach go depends on your county, at least in Florida. And for a new athletic director, it's kind of intimidating to be sitting there evaluating a veteran coach. And it could get uncomfortable, but I want to give some tips today how to have a more welcoming situation, a more inclusive evaluation, and where everybody walks away with a good feeling and a plan.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think it can be challenging, but if you have that program in place and your coaches understand it, and it's not a gotcha type of thing, it really can be a much more productive and growing experience for both the coach and the AD. So I'm excited to hear about this. Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and hear more of the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau. We appreciate you listening. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack for their support of the Mentoring Minute and the podcast. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack also puts you in touch with the usually 95% of the parents and the student athletes who really love your program. And it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and look at their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466, or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the folks at Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack and let them help you take your athletic department from good to great. We're back with Dan Comeau in the Mentoring Minute. Dan, you're going to share some tips for how ADs can, do a better job with the evaluation experience, both for them and their coaches. So what do you got for us?
Well, let me start off by telling you a horror story, and I am certainly not a hatchet man, but in my career of 25 years, I've had to let a football coach go 4 times during the season. Very, very difficult thing to do. My guideline and my baseline was, can things get better? Will things stay the same? Or is it going to get worse? And 4 times the consensus was it was going to get worse. At that point, you have to make a move. But for the most part, for coaches, make it a welcoming situation. You're going to have informal talks with parents about coaches, and you're going to have informal talks with players about coaches, and you can kind of keep that in the back of your head until the evaluation comes towards the end of the season. I think it's important to include the coach in the evaluation. Give him an opportunity for a self-evaluation. Ask the coach, what were your goals? Did you reach them? If you did, what are you looking for in the future? If you didn't, why didn't you make your goals? What were the things that got in your way? And it's just not wins and losses. Strengths and weaknesses. Ask the coach what he thinks his strengths are and his weaknesses. Now you have talking points. You can talk about supervision. You can talk about fundraising. You can talk about the extension of the classroom. What have you taught your kids during that time? Wins and losses will come. I had a situation, and he still is the current coach. We had a cannon, and every time we scored, we blew the cannon off at our football games. Well, there was one season we went 0-10, and we never blew the cannon off. We never scored one touchdown at home. And that was, and people started asking, well, what are you going to get rid of the coach and that type of thing. And the thought never crossed my mind. He just didn't have talent. That same coach went to the Final Four this year with his team. And that's the head coach at Treasure Coast High School. And he's a great guy. And he teaches his kids. When he gets a boy in the 9th grade, there's a man walking off that stage with a scholarship in the 12th grade. And that's what you look for in a coach. So talk to the coach about his goals. And if he did or did not make it, and if you want to retain that coach, have a plan for the following year. What are your goals? What are you looking to do with the team this coming year? What are your fundraisers? What are the things you're going to do for the community? Those are the things that you want to write down and have a plan so that you both know what the next step is for that coach and watch him grow. It's a concrete plan for the following year. He knows what he's looking to do. You know what his expectations are of him. And it makes for a better relationship between coach and AD, coach parent, and coach players.
Yeah, it's so true. And as I was listening to you go through that, I was doing my little mental checkbox on all the things that we had, in our program. Not initially, you had to learn and put it together, but the theme that you kept coming up with was communication. Sitting down and talking with the coach, talking about goals. Also, being very specific when there was an item that they needed to work on. Coach, you're always going late on practice. We stop at whatever it is, 6 o'clock, 6:30. You can't be dismissing the kids at a half hour late because you're talking to them at the field or in the gym. Parents need to pick them up, and just letting them know along the way. I always, prided myself in telling the coaches at the start of the season, if you're not going to come back next year, it's not going to be a surprise. It's going to be something that we have talked about. And for whatever reason, you haven't, or we haven't made it work. So again, communication, so important. Inspect what you expect. Great stuff as always. Dan, if one of our athletic directors listening wants to reach out and find out more about evaluations or about anything, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
Get a hold of me through email is best way, dcomeau19@comcast.net.
Okay. Dan Comeau and the Mentoring Minute, thanks so much for sharing. For our listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews are uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening today. Come back again next Tuesday for another Mentoring Minute, and just about every day for the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Have a good week, Jake.
As always, we want to thank Hometown Ticketing for their support of the Mentoring Minute and the Educational AD Podcast. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. To find out more about what Hometown Ticketing can do for you and your program, go to hometownticketing.com. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. And we want to thank all of our sponsors: Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack, Wall of Fame by Vital Signs, Sideline Interactive, Huddle, Violet Defense, and Hometown Ticketing. Thanks for your support of the Mentoring Minute and the Educational AD Podcast. Come back again next time.